Holland is quite an interesting film. I'd say the first third is amazing, visually stunning as well. I'll talk about that in a moment. The third half, I really thoroughly enjoyed. I won't say how it ends, but if you start watching it and feel like it starts to dip, I'd say stick with it. It is worth it. But the middle third, I'm generalizing, it might not exactly be exactly a third, but the middle is just really slow and I really found it to be quite dull. So it's quite a bizarre experience, but I definitely think it's worth it. This was released this year in 2025. It's directed by Mimi Cave, written by Andrew Sodroski, and we have a cast including Nicole Kidman as our protagonist, Nancy. And Nancy lives with her husband and her son in Holland, Michigan. Everything's really pleasant, it's visually gorgeous. The editing across the board in this film is fabulous, and it's got a really nice atmosphere to it. But then Nancy begins to suspect that there's something about her husband that doesn't sit right with her. She thinks that he goes away on too many work trips for an optometrist, and she begins to scratch at the surface of this. And of course, I'm not going to say what's going on. I will say I was going to say it's not what I expected, but I actually don't know what I expected. And it certainly took a direction, or a couple of directions, in fact, that I maybe hadn't anticipated. And that was quite an interesting journey. I quite liked it. So the story itself is not too bad. As I said, it does dip in the middle. I don't know why exactly. I can't put my finger on it because the narrative flows well enough. Everything that's presented makes sense. It feels different to the first and the third. I don't know why that's difficult to say, but it feels a little bit different. But what I love about this film, and fair enough, this does begin to happen in the middle, is that the mood starts to shift, but I feel like visually it starts to change, the atmosphere starts to change, but it's a little bit gradual. And that's not to say that this is the only film that does that, but I think it was done very, very well and very effectively, and that definitely helped to carry things forward. Nicole Kidman gave an absolutely brilliant performance, and we also have Jude Hill as Harry, her son, and I thought his character was great, the performance was great, everybody gave a great performance. I don't have any issues with any of that. The story is very good. Yes, the middle maybe isn't that great, but it's not terrible. But I guess because the beginning certainly was fantastic, and I really liked the final third, I guess the middle is okay, but compared to the rest, it just doesn't feel like the same quality. But nevertheless, I enjoyed the experience. I thought Holland was quite suspenseful and ultimately something that I am very happy to recommend. I certainly thought it was an enjoyable film. I didn't know what to expect from it, but what we got was pretty great. And ultimately, if it sounds like something you're interested in, if you're curious to see what it's like, then I'm definitely happy to recommend Holland.